This is Don Moore's interview with Harold Post, who speaks of the discipline and responsibility that were emphasized when he served in the Air Guard at the young age of 18.
Hi, my name is Donville Moore. I'm a junior at Ridgeview High School, and today I'm interviewing Harold Post. So did you ever know that you were going to go over to Vietnam?
Well, we didn't know that we were going to go over until actually in April. And my job, I was the one that carried the message that told us that we were going to Vietnam. And our group was mostly comprised of National Guard, Air National Guard. And so in that group were officers as well as enlisted men. They weren't appointed officers until they went through the basic training, but some of them went on to become pilots and that sort of thing. Yeah.
How old were you when you were over there?
I was 18.
You were 18, so
you had two choices at that point: wait for your draft number to come up, or join the Guard.
Yeah.
And the Army Guard was much more difficult than the Air Guard. So I had a friend that was in the Air Guard. He talked me into joining the Air Guard.
Can you describe a memorable moment during boot camp?
Well, probably not during boot camp, but probably when I arrived in Vietnam that night. They did bomb the base that I arrived at, so that was kind of a vivid memory.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you served with that you remembered?
Well, yeah, there was several of them from this area that I did serve with. Yeah.
Do you guys keep in touch?
We see each other from time to time. Actually, when I got over to Vietnam, I was separated from the group that I went over, so I was with another group that I did not know real well.
Oh, okay.
So what was your main job when you were in Vietnam?
My main job was a clerk typist for the military police, but I also did, they had script money, and so I was a guard for the script money as we took that from Quy Nhon to Da Nang. The script money is a lot like play money.
Yeah.
I mean, it was smaller bills, and it had the same denominations and so forth as a regular American money. And the concern was that this money would fall into the hands of the North Vietnamese, and so that's why it was changed from time to time.
Did you ever get any days off?
We usually had 1 day a week off, and quite often then they would send a truck to the ocean, and so we swam in the South China Sea, and then also spent some time in the town, Quy Nhon, that was there. But again, I mean, it's unbelievable. It was all dirt streets. It was a very dirty, unclean place.
So did you have barracks in Vietnam?
We had barracks, yeah. We had very good living conditions. The Air Force Base was surrounded by the regular Army and also the South Korean Army, so it was very well guarded. And so the conditions were real good there where we on the Air Force Base. The Army people did not have it as good, yeah.
So how many were in a barrack?
Well, I'd say there was probably 8 in our room. I mean, the barracks was long, and then they were divided into rooms, and there was probably 8 beds stacked, double stacked beds. Yeah.
Do you remember getting a lot of mail back from home?
My wife usually sent a letter every day, and I did get 2 leaves. One leave to Hong Kong, where I spent 7 days there, which was
nice,
a very interesting place. And then the other leave was to Hawaii, where I met my wife then in Hawaii.
So were the prices there horrible with the money and everything, or were they all the same?
I had an Iowa steak, and it cost $6, but Hong Kong dollars it would cost $24. And I mean, $6 in that time was quite a bit of money already.
Yes.
But
can you tell me about the weather down there where you were stationed?
And it was just like stepping into an oven. It was
geez.
extremely hot. And we were only about 20 miles off the ocean, so there's a lot of humidity as well. It stayed that way until probably January or February, and then it got what they considered cold, which was probably a low of 60 degrees.
Oh, okay.
And I just wondered, the houses were built up about so high Now, I just wondered why, but I got the answer in February because that was a monsoon season. And it started raining one day and then quit for 2 weeks later.
Jeez.
Day and night, steady rain. And believe it or not, I mean, we sat in outdoor theaters with our ponchos on and watched movies, and it was just a fact of life.
So were you stationed in Vietnam the entire time you were there?
Now, I also spent a little time on the way back in Saigon, and that was just like a modern city. I mean, they had 6 lanes of traffic each way. There were motorcycles, and they did a lot of traffic with motorcycles and motorbikes and so forth. Yeah.
Can you please describe your thoughts on the military before returning to boot camp?
Well, the military was very good for me in the fact that I was relatively young, and it taught me a lot of discipline and so forth. It also gave me a wide experience as far as worldview was concerned. Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself or learn from others when you were deployed there?
How to be responsible, how to make good decisions, how to appreciate life back in the United States. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like me or any of the other students at Ridgeview to know?
As I look at it, I'm not sure that it was a worthwhile war. We really didn't gain a lot when you look at the end result. The GIs that came back were not appreciated. I did not feel much of that, but you just didn't share with people that you had been in Vietnam. They would just...
This concludes my interview with Harold Post, and I thank him for coming in with me and sharing information about Vietnam.
We thank you for sharing your experiences with us, Harold, and we look forward to hearing from a Shaler veteran next week, Harlan Reeder.